Welcome to Oxford Analytica's weekly outlook on upcoming political risk events in the global political economy. My name is Tom Wales, Deputy Director of Analysis. I'm here with Dr. Stephanie Hare, our Western Europe analyst, who is going to help us understand whether or not we're going to see a definitive result this weekend as European leaders meet yet again to discuss the euro crisis. So the real question on everyone's mind, Stephanie, is, are we looking at definitive outcome, or are we looking at more Euro fudge, or as Martin Wolf said in his column the other day, Euro porridge? So nothing but Euro porridge, or are we looking at something real that will finally resolve this crisis?
I think that anyone who's looking for tomorrow to produce the solution to end this crisis is going to be disappointed. There are no quick political fixes to this. If we go for what the European Council President has been advocating, which is just a treaty amendment, that won't be substantive enough to reassure markets. Credibility is key. To get the credibility, you need more far-reaching changes, as we've seen advocated by the German and French leaders, but that will take far longer. President Sarkozy of France was saying that his timeline for treaty change was going to be March of 2012. So don't look for any sort of reassurance or market rebound this week beyond anything that's just very short term.
Well, most of our clients are looking at this sort of slow motion train wreck and saying to themselves, when is the definitive moment finally going to happen, when policymakers are confronted either with driving straight into the oncoming train or swerving away at the last moment and taking the decisive action that the U.S. government and virtually every other government outside of the Eurozone has been urging upon them, however politically painful it is. And we know that it may be, in fact, very politically costly for some of these leaders. Can we give them any guidance as to timing?
I think it's very difficult to see how we could continue to muddle through beyond the end of the first quarter of 2012. This week, the euro area leaders got a giant shock, which was when Standard & Poor's, the credit rating agency, put 15 out of 17 members on credit watch. So within the next 90 days, we could have downgrades. France, which is AAA rated now, could be downgraded by 2 notches. So that's the first thing that's potentially going to happen. We also saw a credit watch warning for the bailout fund, the European Financial Stability Facility, and the EU as a whole, so affecting even countries that are not in the euro area. Now, that is one concern, and it's certainly something we need to be looking at, but what concerns me more is that any sovereign crisis could be eclipsed by a banking crisis. We are already in a banking crisis, it must be said, but we're seeing rising capital flight, we're seeing deleveraging. If there was some sort of systemic shock, such as a massive banking failure, I can think of a few countries where that is most likely to happen. That is what we could see outpace any political decision, and that's when it will become crunch time.
Well, it looks like banking crisis then before sovereign crisis. And I guess the banking crisis then provides the sort of moment of decision if the European leaders are going to actually rescue us from the sort of worst case scenario.
That's right. That's going to be one of those times where it's not going to simply affect the economies of Europe. A European banking crisis, a systemic shock, could affect the world.
Okay, well, 90 days to save the world. You heard it here from Dr. Stephanie Hare. I'm Dr. Tom Wales. Thank you for joining us this week.